And with one-time Dodger prospect Ruby De La Rosa getting roughed up by the third inning, surrendering a leadoff home run to Carl Crawford, and then Adrian Gonzalez cracking his 27th of the season, De La Rosa lost his control and his composure. 2 pitches later, Seager paid back with interest, and that would be De La Rosa's last pitch of the game. In his next at-bat, the Phenom hit his first big league home run, and later he would walk and double and scored his 3rd run of the game. So in the 10th day of his career, Seager is hitting .467, a breathtaking .568 on base percentage. He's knocked in 7 and scored 8. Sit back and enjoy the show. The Dodgers certainly are.
It's a beautiful day for baseball. And live from Chase Field in Phoenix, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks in the rubber game of this 3-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser. Nomar is off this weekend, and so here we go. Corey Seager back in the lineup today. The Jimmy Rollins right index finger continues to be an issue. No issue, however, for Zack Greinke, making his 29th start of the season. He has the lowest ERA in the league, and opponents are nobody's hitting lower against him than him.
Well, he's been pitching really well. He's been hitting really well. He does it all. And these last 4 starts for him could mean the difference in the Cy Young race. Going for 20 wins, he's going to need to win all 4. This will be for his 17th today. The pitching has been excellent all year, especially the command and with those strikeouts. But the fielding is there, too. He could be a 5-tool player if he played out on the field. The glove and the arm are excellent. And then there has to be the bat. Batting over 200, opponents only hitting 192 off him, and he also brings the power, Charlie.
So the magic number for the Dodgers now is down to 14. And for Corey Seager, this is going to be game number 10. What a start he is off to. When we come back, Alana will talk about Corey Seager and somebody else who got off to a great start for the Dodgers just a couple of years ago.
season, and the Dodgers at 81-60, a 7.5 game lead on the Giants, a magic number of 14. This will be the rubber game of this 3-game series with the D-backs, and our closed captioning on this Sunday afternoon is brought to you by First 5 California. And the lineups put together today by manager Don Mattingly. Justin Ruggiano, who has gotten off to a great start with the Dodgers, 6 out of 16. He's also had a leadoff home run playing in his 8th game. Peraza's at second base, and Turner's still struggling at third. Gonzalez a home run last night. Van Slyke in right. Apparently, Carl Crawford's hamstring is not pulled. It was more of a cramp. They're feeling better about that. And then there's that fella Seager making his 10th appearance with the Dodgers, his 7th start at short. Ellis behind the plate. Peterson been hot the last couple of days. Greinke pitching and batting 9th, and they're going to be facing the 26-year-old left-hander Patrick Corbin.
And this young man has been in the big leagues for a few years and has gained some velocity. He came to the big leagues a few years ago throwing around 90 miles an hour. Is now up hovering around 93, and it's going to be a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. And he is a winner over the course of his career. His career record is 25-19, and he's been hot of late.
He, of course, had Tommy John surgery, and this is his 3rd full season with Arizona, his 4th overall. We are underway. First pitch to Ruggiano with a fly ball to right field. Well hit, and it is gone. No, it's off the wall, off the base of the wall, and now Ruggiano will arrive at second base. Ruggiano, who hit a leadoff home run just the other night. In fact, it was Tuesday in Anaheim. Didn't miss this one by much, and the Dodgers right off on the right foot.
He owns left-handers, and he has a huge slugging percentage against them. And this wall juts out very quickly there, high off the edge of the wall right there, inches from a home run. And that would have been the Dodgers' 25th home run from a leadoff hitter this year. They're only 2nd to the New York Mets with 24.
Jose Peraza now the batter. The Dodgers in business. A good bunt up the third base line. That gets Ruggiano to third easily. So the Dodgers going for a run early. Defensively behind Corbin this afternoon. Lamb and Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Owings and Goldschmidt on the right. Peralta, Pollock, and Inciarte with Saltalamacchia behind the plate. So the Dodgers looking to draw first blood, and when they do, they are 59-15. 44 games over 500. Turner at 283 with 15 home runs. So the Dodgers 44 games over 500 when they score first. And immediately Arizona brings its infield in. Turner last night was 1 for 4 and a run scored. But really has not been the same since coming off the disabled list with that staph infection in his leg. There's a strike, and it's 1-1.
He's been so good for so long, to the fact that he has won the third base starting job. Juan Uribe shipped to Atlanta and then to the Mets. Justin just hasn't gotten that perfect timing yet.
And a fly ball to left field. That one is well hit, and that one is foul. Home run distance. So the Dodgers getting to Corbin early.
Just out in front of this right here, and because it's hit so high, it's got a little spin on it. It goes foul. It started out fair.
Turner with a career high 15 home runs and 52 runs batted in. On 1-2. We'll do it again. Dodgers with 9 runs and 15 hits last night. Improving their record to 81-60. Giants and Padres just underway, and San Diego has scored 2 in the first. Dodger magic number down to 14. They're 6-3 on this road trip. A 1-2. Inside and low, 2-2. Hasn't felt like a traditional road trip in that it began in San Diego, and after the game a week ago today, most of the fellas drove back to L.A. or stayed in Anaheim. And 3 games in Anaheim, an off day on Thursday. They were home, and a 3-day weekend here in Arizona. So it's the last long trip of the season, but in terms of time and strenuousness of travel, wasn't all that bad. Here's a 2-2. Inside and low, and it's now 3-2.
Justin Turner's done a good job right here with a man on third to continue to build this count. Now 3-2. A couple good foul balls. And almost got one right there. Another block. Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate today for the Diamondbacks.
Gonzalez on deck. Van Slyke to follow. And the 3-2. Foul, line drive, base hit into right field. So Turner drives in Ruggiano, and the Dodgers strike first blood.
A good fundamental baseball from Ruggiano with the double, going the opposite way. Then the bunt by Peraza, and then Justin Turner doing the job, not only with a sacrifice fly, but a base hit to keep the rally going.
Dodgers are 8-3 in the month of September, 6-3 on the road trip. They've won 6 of their last 8 and playing with a verve and aggressiveness that really seemed to stem from some post-game comments that Clayton Kershaw made in Houston. And since those comments, Dodgers have gone 14-4. That's when Kershaw was saying there has to be a sense of panic and urgency around here. And apparently the Dodgers listened to their leader. Kershaw pitches tomorrow night when Seager makes his home debut. Gonzalez takes outside, 2-0.
It was interesting to listen to Corey talk about, I haven't played in Dodger Stadium yet, and those initial nerves that he felt when he got called up and he played in his first game, he thinks those will return.
Well, it'll be the first time for him and for the folks watching. Here's the 2-0. Drilled into right field for a base hit. Now Turner will hold at second base, and it's a good thing that he did. Ender Inciarte out in right field has 10 outfield assists.
Very nice base hit by Adrian Gonzalez, but the play in right field keeps the runners at first and second. Hard line drive on a very smooth swing, but look at how he charges that ball in the outfield. A 2-hopper. He charges like a first baseman coming across the infield to go to third. Outstanding throw.
Well, the emergence of Inciarte allowed the Diamondbacks to trade Gerardo Parra. And Parra's a Gold Glove winner in his own right. Inciarte's a better hitter. Now Van Slyke at 247, 5 home runs and 27 runs batted in. It's done a little bit better against lefties and righties. And Seager is on deck. So not great speed on the bases with Turner at second and Gonzalez at first. And there's a strike, and it's 0-1.
As the Dodgers have become burners of late, though, Justin Turner has gotten a stolen base. But you are right, Charlie. They are not the fleas to foot out there. But when the pitcher has given Justin an opportunity lately, he has taken advantage of it.
Turner's stolen 4 out of 5 this year. Gonzalez's next stolen base will be his first. On 0-1, no balls and 2 strikes. Patrick Corbin. He's a 26-year-old lefty out of upstate New York, Clay, New York. Second round pick of the Angels back in 2009, and was traded over here a year later in a deal that would involve the lefty Joe Saunders, Tyler Skaggs, and that was a deal that involved Dan Herron. Now the 0-2, fouled off to the right and out of play.
A young man that throws very well. He's had the Tommy John surgery, but some velocity now with maturity at 26 years old. Now up in 93, 94 range. The hard slider and the changeup. He could get a little bit better if he can get something with some little deeper angle to his off-speed pitches.
This is his 13th start since coming back from the Tommy John. And on 0-2, inside and low, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That pitch right there is his slider, and it has good depth, but it's always usually a ball, and when he has it for a strike, it's a little flatter, and that's when it gets hit.
Last 3 starts, 3 earned runs in 18 innings, a 1.47 ERA. So Dodgers are getting to him early. A 1-2. Golfed foul. And they've already beefed up the pitch count to 17, only 1 out in the first.
It's been a very fundamentally sound offensive inning for the Dodgers. The double, the bunt, move him over. Justin Turner not striking out, getting the base hit. Adrian Gonzalez hitting the ball to the right side with a man on first, gets a line drive base hit. Ruggiano started it all off right there with his double.
So the Dodgers with the early 1-0 lead. And Seager, who's merely been on base in each of his last 9 plate appearances, is on deck. The 1-2. Just inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good pitch, good take. Shoot in there, 1-2, right-handed hitter. Scott Van Slyke likes to extend his arms. Big lanky hitter up there trying to jam him. Just missed. Staying alive.
Ruggiano, the leadoff double, sacrificed to third. Turner knocked him in with a single to right, and Gonzalez with a base hit. On 2-2 to third. Backhanded by Lamb. Out at second, but safe at first. So first and third, 2 out. And here comes Seager.
Shortstop, number 5, Corey Seager.
Well, 9 plate appearances in a row he's been on base. This is the 10th game of his big league career. Hitting .467 at an on-base percentage of .568. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in, 8 runs scored, and he's got runners at the corners with 2 out. Corbin sticks out his glove, and look what he found. That'll end the inning. Ruggiano leads off the ball game with a double to right, less than a foot from a home run. And then after Peraza sacrificed him to third, Justin Turner with a base hit to right. So the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Greinke about ready to start his 29th game of the year. Especially against left-handed pitching. He led off the inning in the top half of the first with a double to right and would come around to score. on Turner's base hit. So here's the lineup that Chip Hale has put together for the Diamondbacks, who are 68 and 74, with Pollock the 8th leading hitter in the league. In fact, the first 4 hitters in Arizona's lineup are at 300 or better. Saltalamacchia is catching, Lamb at third, Owings at second, Ahmed at short, Corbin is pitching and batting ninth. Well, here's Zach Greinke. This is his 29th start, 16 and 3 at a 168 earned run average. Right to Peraza at second. Couldn't have been positioned any more perfectly. So Peraza is at second base, and his keystone partner is Seager. Turner and Gonzalez at the corners with Ruggiano in left, Peterson in center, Van Slyke in right, and A.J. Ellis is behind the plate. This brings up Ender Inciarte, who's had quite a series. Last night he was 2 for 5 and a run batted in. So you got Pollock at 313, Inciarte's hitting 300. Goldschmidt on deck, 5th in the league at 318, and Peralta is hitting 305. The Diamondbacks have scored more runs, had more base hits than any club in the National League this year. Usually you'd expect us out of like Colorado.
Both are good hitters, Parks, but yes, you do expect Colorado to be on top, just with the caveat of getting to play at home.
1-1 to Inciarte. 4 home runs, 40 runs batted in. To third, and on the second hop, Turner throws him out.
4 hops, 2 outs. 2 hopper by Pollock and a 2 hopper by Inciarte, and Zach Greinke is lowering his league against batting average. Was 192 coming into this game, and oh yeah, he's hitting 207. He hits better than the people that face him.
So he's got the league's lowest ERA at 168, and opponents at 192 against him. Goldschmidt at 318 steps in. 0-1. Goldschmidt 5th in the league, 4th in the league with 160 hits, 4th in the league with 88 runs scored, 2nd in the league with 99 RBIs. There's a strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, we're looking for somebody to get this guy out. Maybe Zach Greinke is just the guy for the task.
Well, Greinke's been getting pretty near everybody out this year. Here's the 0-2 outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, no matter what pitch he throws, his changeup, the league's batting 169 against. His fastball 197, his slider 177.
Interesting note about Greinke: if he can finish the year with an ERA of under 2, it's 168 at the moment. He'll be the first pitcher. Slice toward right, and it's foul. He'd be the first pitcher in the last 10 years and the 4th in the modern era whose ERA never rose above 2. Roger Clemens in 2005, Pedro in 97 and 2000, Greg Maddux in 1994 had an ERA of 156. And so he's the leader of the pack. Arrieta, of course, making a claim for Cy Young consideration, as well as tomorrow's starter Kershaw. So there's Greinke's first strikeout of the game. He retires the Diamondbacks in order. When we come back for the second, A.J. Ellis, Jock Peterson, and Greinke will hit. 2015 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 31 highway MPG. It's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com today. Dodgers with a 1-0 lead as we go to the top half of the second. A.J. Ellis, Jock Peterson, and Zack Greinke will bat. We are under the big top at Chase Field. Built in 1998 when the D-backs came into the National League. Ellis at 232 takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Well, your old friend and your old boss, Buck Showalter, had as much to do with this park as almost anybody. Upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. He was hired 2 years before the Diamondbacks came into business, and he basically designed the ballpark, the initial color scheme and jerseys for the Diamondbacks, and that patch of dirt between home plate and the pitcher's mound was Buck's idea.
The runway. I actually like throwing from it.
Ellis into left, and the catch will be made by Peralta. Or did he dropped it?
Yesterday, right before Corey Seager's first home run, a fan reached over and interfered with Peralta, but the Diamondbacks did not challenge the call at all, and it is reviewable. And this one, no interference at all, but as it goes into his glove, it's there for a while, but then when he hits the padding of the wall, it rolls out.
So Peralta, some bad luck down the left field line in the last 2 games. And now Ellis into short right. And Inciarte this time in fair territory with plenty of room. Jock Peterson stepping in. Peterson 3 hits last night, including his 25th home run of the year. So Jock in the last week or so, his bat's beginning to warm up a bit. His 25 home runs, most among Major League rookies this year. Chris Bryant has 24. Correa has 18. And Correa's done it in just 79 games. So Peterson drills a base hit into center field. He's not as pull conscious as he has been. A couple of base hits off to left last night, and a clean hard smash to center this afternoon.
Hands to the ball, barrel lagging. Boy, that was one of the prettiest swings he's made this year. Complete balance, didn't fall off, didn't come off of the ball, and he's facing a left-hander. That was outstanding progress on the things that he's working on.
Peterson and Goldschmidt in conference at first as Zack Greinke steps in. Greinke with 6 career home runs, 6 sacrifice bunts this season. And he's 12 for 58, which is a .207 average. Into right. And Ciardi is there. Once again, the 3rd game of this series, there's many Dodger fans in the building as Diamondback fans.
Left fielder, Justin Ruggiano.
Ruggiano began the game with a double and scored the only run. 5 of the first 9 Dodger hitters have been first pitch swinging. Padres now 3-0 in San Francisco. They are playing in the 2nd inning. Drilled foul. So another first pitch swinger. 6 of the first 10.
Talked about yesterday, Ruggiano, his dominance on left-handed pitching, and that double he hit was his 37th double in his career off of left-handers. And the total at bats he's had is approximately a whole season. He also has had 24 home runs off of lefties.
A right-handed hitting specialist.
And everybody thought he was under the radar acquisition because the overall statistics weren't that glowing. But when you break him down as somebody to come off the bench to face a lefty, to start against a lefty, he has really done well over the course of his career, especially with the power numbers.
Outside.
We watched Alex Guerrero's statistics kind of decline a little bit, and Justin Turner became an everyday player at third base, and Scott Van Slyke can't do it all, so the Dodgers went out and got Ruggiano, and this looks like an outstanding acquisition.
Now, whether he'll be playing with the club the first week of October. Ball in the dirt, and heading to second base is Jock Peterson.
Heads up base running right there, watching the angle of the ball going down into the dirt, getting a good secondary lead, get onto your front foot as the ball hits the dirt, and then if it gets away far enough, you go. Jock out there and see him, a little bit of hesitation right there as he sees how far the ball is going, but kept his momentum going towards second.
So the Dodgers with a runner in scoring position with 2 out. Remember, Ruggiano doubled in his first at bat. 1-0 in the second inning. Inside. 3 balls and a strike. Dodger magic numbers down to 14. They can't afford themselves the luxury of looking ahead, but we can. And the question is, all right, what's going to the postseason roster? What's it going to look like, and will there be room at the inn for Ruggiano? Here's a 3-1. Did he check his swing? No, he went around. 3-2.
A lot of considerations for a lot of different elements in the Dodger postseason roster, and I think there's a lot of flexibility there with the different guys that have been hurt and the different guys that have all performed very well and were here in the organization before September 1st.
And so today, Sunday, September the 13th, 3 weeks from today, will be the final regular season game. Ruggiano fouls it back. So 21 games are left. Dodgers 7.5 in front of the Giants, 8 in the loss column. Jose Peraza's on deck with Peterson at second base. Down goes Ruggiano, Corbin's first strikeout of the day. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. 1-0 Dodgers as we go to the bottom of the second. Data Strong fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming telecast brought to you by T-Mobile. Greinke had an easy time of the Diamondbacks in the first inning, retiring the side in order, striking out Goldschmidt, needing 10 pitches to do so. David Peralta, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Jake Lamb will bat in the second. Peralta at 3:05, and it's 0-1. Peralta 15 home runs and 72 runs batted in, and Greinke quickly ahead, 0-2.
12 pitches so far from Zach Greinke, and he is on his game. He's working on 5 days rest, and that has been his worst rest sequence. He's 6-2 on 5 days rest, but has a 2.72 ERA. The other days, normal rest, 0.87 his ERA is. 10-1 and a 0.87 on 4 days rest. See it right there. Those are the records. The ERAs across the board are 0.87, 2.72, and 2.08.
So what is the big deal between 1 day of rest more or 1 day of rest less? Or
a little bit of touch and feel on the mound, a little bit of being in your normal work habits with your side work, your weightlifting, your cardiovascular workout.
Greinke's second strikeout.
There's so much creatures of habit and feeling good out there to do something very finesse and specific as recreating your mechanics every time you lift your leg. And right there, making the perfect pitch. Fantastic velocity and unbelievable accuracy. That is what is known as a good miss. A.J. Ellis setting up for a ball, but within the range of the shotgun of his arm, that miss was right on the corner.
Saltalamacchia, the switch hitter, takes outside and low. 1 ball, no strikes. A couple of years ago, won a World Series ring. And there's a breaking ball for a strike. And again, he's what? 16 pitches in. It looks like he's locked in.
He is. Curveball right here is his least effective pitch. League hits .311 off that pitch, but he just spots it in there whenever he needs it.
Fastball outside corner at the knees, and it's 1-2.
That curveball was a pitch that he used a lot more often last year, and this year it's really just a show me and kind of surprise steal a strike pitch.
It's like he's throwing darts in a saloon.
Yeah. And he's leaning forward, cutting down the distance.
In the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
16 wins right now for Zach Greinke. 4 starts probably left, and they're going to want those top 2 horses, he and Clayton Kershaw, to probably be on normal rest. That's when they perform their best. This isn't going to be about, if we can get this clinch, we're going to give them a week off or have them miss a start. These 2 horses love to pitch every 4 or 5 days.
Just missing.
So the way it times out, you could pitch the second to last day or the last day of the season, and you can juggle those 2 into game 1 and game 2 on the correct rest.
Saltalamacchia takes a walk. That's a rare occurrence. Just the 33rd walk Greinke has given up in 194 innings. Now Jake Lamb stepping in. Lamb at 279. With 6 home runs. Hasn't done as well at home as he's done on the road this year. Chris Owings on deck. And there's a strike. It's 0-1. So looking ahead, we have the luxury of doing it up here in the booth and not in the front office or in the dugout. Those last 2 days of the regular season at Dodger Stadium and against the Padres. So you're looking at Kershaw and Greinke, but you're not looking at them going many more than 4 or 5 innings just to get in the stink and be ready.
Yeah, I would think that they would be a 6-inning max, maybe a 90-pitch max. they're not going to want to just break a sweat. They're going to want to go out there and pitch and get their work in.
To second base, Peraza, Seager, double play. Is that the future double play combination? Peraza and Seager, nicely turned, and that will end the second. Fernando Valenzuela, not for his pitching so much as his hitting. A two-time Silver Slugger Award winner. And he presented a facsimile presented by State Farm. For tickets, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead night.
With a bat in his hand.
Mm-hmm. So we begin the third inning with Peraza, Turner, and Gonzalez. Peraza, a perfect sacrifice bunt in his first at-bat. Takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes. When you're hot, you're hot. Mets were trailing 7-4 in the ninth in Atlanta. They score 3, they tie it, and they go to the 10th. And a bunt up the first baseline, and this is a beauty, a flip. Just got him. Well, Peraza, a sacrifice bunt in his first at-bat, and bunting for a base hit and narrowly missing one in his second at-bat.
We were told that his leg was healthy a while ago, but they just making sure, and he has sure tested it today. Guy who's only had 20 at-bats here at the big league level already has 3 stolen bases, showing off his wheels right here. A little firmer to get it by the left-handed pitcher, and that half a step, you're safe by instead of out.
Justin Turner stepping in. But at the end of the second inning, when Lamb bounced into the 4-6-3 double play, that could well be the second base shortstop combination for the Dodgers next year. Got a long time to go between now and then.
And a few things they want to accomplish.
Justin Turner looks like he's got his hitting stroke back. He's 2 for 2.
In his last at bat, we saw a foul ball over the Dodger dugout that our partner Nomar Garciaparra, who's got today off, would say that is a good foul ball, and that's a sign of good things to come. And since that foul ball that he let get deep and was right on, just a little late, 2 solid base hits.
1 out, 1 on in the third, and here's Adrian Gonzalez, who was 2 for 5 with a home run last night. In his career, 73 games at Chase Field, a .331 hitter. Takes a breaking ball for a strike with 21 home runs and 63 runs batted in. But Gonzalez at the moment at 278 He's a career .293 hitter. No balls and a strike. Now it's 0-2. Last night, Gonzalez in the second inning cracked his 27th home run of the year. That would open the door to a 5-run third, and the Dodgers 7-0 lead. They'd go on and win 9-5. There goes Turner. Outside, throw to second base, not close. Justin Turner with his 5th stolen base of the year, and the Dodgers now in their last 14 games plus have stolen 22 out of 23.
Justin Turner gathered a little information on Corbin in the first couple pitches over there, looking for the read. Is it the knee? Is it the ankle? Is it what the shoulders do? Whatever the key was that he and Davey Lopes worked on as the trigger when Corbin goes home, he was off and running with a very good jump.
Count is 1-2 to Gonzalez. Adrian with 83 runs batted in. Into center field, and Pollock can't get it. Nice job of decoying. And now Turner is in trouble, and he's able to finally get into third base. Boy, there's some fancy sleight of hand by A.J. Pollock out there.
Justin had the first good read as far as thinking that ball is going to drop in. Adrian Gonzalez just spanks this out there, lays it into left field. Justin see the read there. He thinks it's going to drop. It does, but then he assumes it's getting caught, and he gets caught in between. It did a nice job, Pollock did with the deke. Justin did a nice job with the early read, but then really didn't trust it. And fortunately for the Dodgers, gets into third.
First and third with one out, and Van Slyke is coming up. Van Slyke bounced to third in his first at-bat. Dodgers leading it 1-0. Van Slyke takes up and in.
There's another part of that fundamentally sound offense. It did it in the first inning when they got the leadoff double, got him over, got him in with Justin Turner's base hit. Here with a man on third, and first and third, one out. Try and get this run in.
2 balls and no strikes. The Padres who took a 3-0 lead in San Francisco, that didn't last long. Giants hitting in the bottom of the third with a 4-3 lead. Of course, Bumgarner came close to the perfect game last night. Peavy, or rather Leake, is pitching today in San Francisco, and it's inside. 3 balls, no strikes to Van Slyke with Seager on deck. Washington finally won, beat Miami 5-0. The 3-0 up the middle. Nice stop at second base. They're not going to get Van Slyke at first. On the fielder's choice, an RBI for Van Slyke. Turner comes in to score, and the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead. Owings making a terrific play, keeping the ball in the infield and getting an out.
Fielder's choice for Scott Van Slyke would give him an RBI. Owings makes a nice play up the middle. Ahmed almost turns this into a double play with the barehanded stab there at second and turn back to first base. Barehands it, even though it's overhanded to him from about 25 feet away. Gives him a shot to try and save the run, but the Dodgers get another tally.
It's 2-0 as Corey Seager steps in. Seager's in a slump. He's 0 for 1. After having been on base 9 consecutive plate appearances. Hit one up the middle in his first at-bat, and Corbin stuck out his glove, or that might have been a base hit into center. Checking his swing. Last night, 5th inning. 422 feet later, Corey Seager's first big league home run. And yes, he got the ball back. A high-level negotiation between the fan and the Dodgers. And the Diamondbacks. It was a 3-way deal. The fan wanted an autographed ball of David Peralta. Dodgers said, sure, that's it. And so it was on the elevator with Seager last night. Get the ball? Yes, sir. All it took was a Peralta ball. Here's a 1-1. Outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Nothing is lost on the young man, and he said, you know what, I didn't get to thank the fan that interfered with the foul ball down the left field line that gave me the opportunity to get the next pitch to hit that home run.
It was a fascinating 3-pitch sequence, wasn't it? You had the brush back and the foul off to the left, and ground ball to first base. Goldschmidt has but 1 play, and that's going to do it. So between the brush back, the fan leaning over, and the first home run for Seager, we'll go now to the bottom of the 3rd.
Shots are concerned, 259. Clayton Kershaw best in the bigs. Don Mattingly was told a couple of days ago that Joe Madden of the Cubs naturally selected Jake Arrieta as the Cy Young Award winner in the National League, and he said, he was asked who would you pick, he joked, he said if I had 2 votes I'd take both of my guys. Obviously he doesn't even have a vote, but this is going to be a very tough competition. Nice to have both of the guys on our staff.
And it will be Kershaw going tomorrow. Greinke's first pitch of the 3rd to Chris Owings is a strike, 0-1. Just 23 pitches through the first 2. It'll be Owings, Ahmed, and Corbin to bat. There's a strike, and it's 0-2. Since 2013, coming to the Dodgers, Greinke is 6-0 and a 138 earned run average. You look at every statistical avenue, and everything is under 2 runs.
Everything's coming up roses. He and Clayton are the nucleus of this team. If there was such thing as co-Cy Youngs, it'd be really close. The MVP from last year has followed up with another outstanding year.
And that's the 3rd strikeout. And it's not bad when you go to the poker table with a pair of aces in your hand. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance next Sunday when the Dodgers play the Pirates and pick up your Clayton Kershaw pin. The final pin in the Cy Young Pin Collector Series presented by 76. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Nick Ahmed stepping in, who has feasted on Dodger pitching. Ahmed fouls it back, and it's 0-1. He went 4 for 4 on Friday night. 1 for 2 and a walk last night. Corbin is on deck. And the Dodgers with a 2-0 lead behind Greinke. To short. Seager picks it up and throws him out. There's yet to be a ball into the outfield off Greinke.
Pitcher number 46.
One slight blemish to walk, but that was erased by the double play of Jake Lamb. Nicely turned by Peraza and Seager.
Corbin is 2 for 16, and he takes a strike, 0-1. Came up in the Angel organization, came here from there in a deal that sent Dan Haren a packet a few years back. Now the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees shut out the Blue Jays today. Texas routing Oakland 8-0 in the 6th. The Angels, more than a heartbeat, beating the Astros again today, 2-0 in the 4th.
The Angels have 3 teams they're worried about as far as catching the wild card, and there's only 2 teams they need to catch to win their division, and they have started to get their act together lately.
Well, they had a big series with Houston, and so far, Anaheim's had the best of it. High and outside, 3-1. Cardinals stopped the hemorrhaging today. They routed the Reds 9-2. Pirates and Brewers tied at 6 in the bottom of the 9th in Pittsburgh.
Enough of these foul tips into catchers and umpires. They are getting beat up in this series. Seen Jim Wolf go down and be replaced, the home plate umpire, the other night. Saw Yasmani get a few. Seen AJ get a few.
Into center field, but right at Peterson. That's the hardest hit ball off Greinke so far this afternoon. Nothing across for Arizona. Ellis, Peterson, and Greinke will bat when we come back for the 4th. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be catchers. Friday night, another day at the office for A.J. Ellis. That didn't hurt. Maybe this one did. Those didn't hurt. This one did. That's just Friday night alone. I saw A.J. in the clubhouse yesterday. I said, is there a body part that doesn't hurt?
That insult to injury, he lined out 3 out of 4 at bats that night also. Ended up with an 0 for 4. Played very well, but the batting average went down.
He's really had a very solid season. He's reached base in 24 of his last 28 games, hitting around 300 since the 12th of June. And in his last 14, hitting .300, 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in. So certainly a valuable member of this Dodger team. A.J. Ellis, 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Taking outside.
Always had a great eye, but the hitting mechanics have gotten better in the second half of this season. A little cleaner line to the ball with his hands.
Into center, and Pollock is there.
Going to find a hole sooner or later, AJ. Keep it right there.
Center fielder, Jock Peterson.
So Ellis is 0 for 1. Peterson stepping in is 1 for 1. Ellis actually 0 for 2 now. Peterson with a single to center in his first at bat. He hit it right on the button and right up the middle, which is a very positive sign. He's been going the other way the last week or so. As he takes a strike, 0-1. Even so, the Diamondbacks have the shift on. Chris Owings, the second baseman, in short right field there. One ball, 1 strike to Jock Peterson. Happy birthday. One ball, 2 strikes. Only Nick Ahmed is on the left side of the Diamondback infield, and now he's retreating. The outfield straight away. Peterson, 25 home runs, most of any National League rookie, but down on strikes. 155th strikeout, and that's the most strikeouts outside of Chris Bryant for any National League rookie. Second strikeout of the game for Corbin.
Zach Greinke.
Greinke flied to right in his first at bat. $12 for 59. A shade over 200. As you pointed out, that's still a higher batting average than what he gives up to opposing hitters.
192 opposing hitters hit it off from coming to this game, and we haven't had one of those things yet. Batting average against is going down.
Greinke, Silver Slugger Award winner in 2013. Takes a strike and is 1-2.
And a Gold Glove Award winner, Silver Slugger, a Cy Young in 2009. Got a chance this year now. One of the finalists for this Cy Young this year for sure, and he's leading the pack. So the trophy case might need some room.
Slowly hit to short. Ahmed can't make the barehanded play. So Greinke is aboard with a 2-out little bleeder.
His batting average will creep up on that chopper. Zach can do it all. There's such thing as a 5-tool player that pitches. He hits for average, hits for power, got a good glove, got an unbelievable arm.
Ahmed had to rush the play in deference to the speed of Greinke. So an infield hit, and already the Dodgers have 7 hits. They've left 4 on base so far. Ruggiano, a double and a strikeout. Takes up and in, 1 ball and no strikes to Justin Ruggiano. Double high off the fence in the right field corner in his first at bat. Tuesday night in Anaheim, the leadoff home run, and that's well hit to left field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Peralta on the 1 hop. Greinke holds at second with 2 out. 8 hits for the Dodgers. Now 2 for Ruggiano.
Second baseman, Jose Peraza.
Peraza's bunted once, actually twice. Once for a sacrifice, and then bunted for a base hit in his last at bat. Again, limited playing time, but he has been a very interesting study for the Dodgers. Well hit, but foul off to the right.
He's injected a lot of energy when he's in the lineup or comes off the bench, especially when he's on the base paths.
Part of that deal came over from Atlanta for Hector Olivera. Into short right center. Inciarte calls off Pollock, who veers off at the last instant. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We'll go to the bottom half of the fourth. Greinke and the Dodgers 2-0. The time is short, but the savings are big at Toyota's Clearance Countdown, going on now. After 3.5, the Dodgers 2 runs and 8 base hits already. Greinke has given up 1 walk. And we go to the fourth. Greinke 36 pitches, 23 for strikes.
9 of those pitches have recorded outs, and unofficially, I think it's every out pitch has been a fastball. He is locating that well.
The only blemish on the line to this point, a walk to Saltalamacchia, who was promptly erased on a double play in the second. There are 5 players in the major leagues who have 30 stolen bases. Only one of them has 30 doubles. And after that big buildup on the first pitch, A.J. Pollock bounces to third. Oh, A.J.
A little Carlskamp for this one, because Carlskamp catches Justin Turner's second step, but it was the first step that made that play that enabled him to get that short hop, cut down on the bounce, so he didn't have to deal with any bad hop. Outstanding reaction on the first pitch of the inning.
Meanwhile, only 1 outfield fly off Greinke to this point. That was Patrick Corbin ending the third. Inciarte stepping in. He bounced to third in his first at bat, dipping below 300. There's a strike, 0-1.
Little curveball right there that Zach shook to steal a strike. You can understand when A.J. Ellis doesn't call that pitch, because Zach doesn't throw it that often.
Remarkable that Greinke's ERA has never been above 2 this year. And if it stays that way, and up to the minute his ERA is 1.65. He'd really have to get pulverized in the next few outings. That hasn't happened. But the last Brooklyn, actually Dodger pitcher to have an entire season with an ERA of under 2, Rube Marquardt. back in 1916 had an ERA of 158. The Dodgers weren't even known as the Dodgers then. They were the Robins. Wilbert Robinson was the manager, so they became known as the Robins for a time. And Ciarte bounces to second, 2 out. Of course, the Dodgers have had many a name. Bridegrooms, Suburbans, Folly Dodgers, Dodgers, Robins, Brooklyn, Los Angeles. And few have had a better statistical season than Zack Greinke. Now here's Goldschmidt, who struck out in his first at-bat. Fifth leading hitter in the National League.
Zach throws him a first pitch fastball away, the same pitch that he got him out with in the last at bat. Struck him out fastball away. A lot of smart hitters around the league facing smart pitchers will sit on something opposite than what they were out on.
1 ball and 1 strike. Peralta's on deck. Dodgers head home after this. Their last long road trip will be in the rearview mirror. Three with the Rockies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium. Thursday an off day. Then the Pirates come in next weekend. 4 with the Diamondbacks next Monday through Thursday, and then the final road trip, 3 in Colorado, 4 in San Francisco, and the Dodgers sure would like to clinch before going to AT&T Park. 2-2 to Goldschmidt. Giants with a 4-3 lead at home over the Padres. They're playing in the 4th at AT&T. And the 2-2. Through the wickets, 3-2 to Paul Goldschmidt.
Between pitches, you'll see Zack Greinke's eyes kind of gaze around the ballpark. He's not trying to pick up fans or enjoy the ambiance here. That's when his brain is really clicking through all the different things that he wants to think about before choosing the next pitch. You see him playing with his eyebrows, tugging on his hat, rubbing the ball against the glove.
Now the 3-2. Swung on and missed strike 3. Goldschmidt down on strikes for the second time this afternoon. 4 strikeouts on the day. Nothing across for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Turner, Gonzalez, and Van Slyke will bat for the Dodgers when we come back for the 5th.
lower body issues as far as their legs are concerned. Yasiel Puig been on the DL since August 28th with that strained right hamstring. Has missed 15 games, and he has been working out at Camelback Ranch, and there was some question as to why he wasn't here working out with the team, and there's a good reason for it. Puig has been using an AlterG machine that isn't available at Chase Field, but it is available at Camelback Ranch, the Dodgers spring training facility, and in Los Angeles. It's basically an unloading machine, so you're basically running in the water, so you're taking 50 to 60% of your body weight, so you're not having to put all of the pressure on the injured area. He has been working out over at Camelback Ranch trying to come back from that hamstring injury, guys, but the equipment that is needed isn't necessarily here at Chase Field. That's why McCarthy's been working out at CBR as well.
Justin Turner takes a strike as we go to the 5th. There are certain mathematics now involved with 21 games left in the regular season. When or if will Yasiel Puig be able to play at all in any kind of a real rehab environment? And so, again, we're not doctors and we don't play them on TV, but going to have to get some game action in if he's going to be available in the first round of the playoffs. So too with
Jimmy, Howie, and Yasiel.
Well, especially Kike Hernandez.
Kike Hernandez.
Those are leg injuries there.
It's a real compliment to the depth of the Dodgers, how hot they have been of late, but have battled through a lot of key injuries.
Turner down on strikes. Dodger fans, a week from Wednesday, the first 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Vin Scully bobblehead. Of course, Vin's coming back again next year, and everybody's thrilled by that. And it's presented by Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California. For tickets, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Kendrick, it sounds as if, is the closest of the three with the leg injuries to return, but precisely when, they don't know that either. But realistically, you have to begin to wonder, or at least ask, will Puig or Kike Hernandez be available first round of the playoffs? Got to get some rehab in somewhere. And by the time it appears they would be ready to play, all the minor league postseason games will have been played.
Howie's scheduled for a couple simulated games the next couple days.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Adrian Gonzalez, 2 for 2 today.
He's starting to feel very close to 100%.
Gonzalez is punched out by Brian O'Nora. Gonzalez doesn't buy that for a moment.
Let's take a look. You'd be the umpire at home. Here's the look from straight away, but take a look from Brian O'Nora's side down the third baseline.
The crew chief. That's 4 strikeouts for Corbin. Now his 73rd pitch. Corbin has not thrown more than 91 pitches in any of his 13 starts this year. Again, having come back from Tommy John surgery. Van Slyke 0-for-2, a fielder's choice and an RBI. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Top of the 5th. In San Francisco, the Giants lead the Padres 4-3. And Goldschmidt makes the play. And that will end the inning. Well, it wasn't the most graceful of catches. We will go to the bottom of the 5th. Goldschmidt appears to be okay. 2-0 Dodgers. walk to Saltalamacchia, who was promptly doubled up. So Greinke, 47 pitches, 29 strikes, 1 outfield fly. He has never thrown a no-hitter. In fact, he has never gone past 5 without giving up a hit. As we enter the 5th inning, it'll be David Peralta, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Jake Lamb. New second baseman just arrived for work today, Ronald Torres, taking over for Peraza. I mean, he arrived at the ballpark about 3 hours ago. And a looper. Well, Seager used every one of those 6 feet 4 inches to snare that one. First out of the 5th.
Defensive change for Los Angeles this inning. Now at second base, number 59, Ronald Torres.
A Morongo, Casino, Cam, slow-mo replay, and Corey Seager is the author of this slow-mo Cam. Thank you, Morongo. Thank you, Corey Seager, for keeping the no-hitter intact.
Saltalamacchia, who walked in his first at-bat. Switch hitter batting for the left side. The shift is on, and he fouls it back. It's 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes to Saltalamacchia. Now it's 1-2. Mentioned earlier about the second inning, it seemed like Greinke was just kind of throwing darts in the saloon today, and he has been the master of his domain.
And now we are midway through second time around the order, and he's starting to change the pitch selection. A few more changeups.
That one's well hit to center. Peterson's got a long way to run. A long way to run. He can't get it. It's off the base of the wall. Saltalamacchia arrives at second base with a sliding double. So Greinke still hasn't gone through the 5th inning of a game in pursuit of a no-hitter.
Fastball's gotten a lot of people out, especially this 4-seamer. This one that catches a little too much of the plate, probably for Zach's liking. It was more to Saltalamacchia's liking for a 2-bagger.
Now Jake Lamb stepping in. Saltalamacchia began the year with the Marlins, and things just didn't work out. They let him go, and they owed him a lot of money to just go.
Yeah, they jettisoned a lot of fuel.
Well, the Marlins exactly didn't have the most graceful of landings this year. Miami coming into the game today 20 under 500. Now 21 after having been shut out by Washington 5-0.
And Washington, one of the other biggest disappointments of the year, at least in their own city, and for all the periodicals that predicted at the beginning of the year who would be in the playoffs and who would go to the World Series. The Nats went flat.
They are, if there's a bigger disappointment in baseball this year than the Nationals, I don't know who it is. 0-2, swung on and missed strike 3. So Lamb is down on strikes, and that's the 5th for Greinke in the second out of the 5th inning.
Disappearing slider right here, back foot from a right-handed pitcher to a left-handed batter. That's, put it in the dictionary, look it up, back foot slider, that was it.
Now Owings stepping in. He struck out in his first at-bat. Owings at 241, and it's 0-1. So who's a bigger surprise one way or the other? Houston or Washington? Now, who figured the Astros would be in first place on September the 13th? And who figured that the Nationals would be a couple of games over 500 and 9.5 behind the Mets this late into the year?
Don't forget about those Mets, too, being on top.
Yeah.
I think they got surprised themselves where they are. And that's why the Matt Harvey controversy kicked up. I think they were planning on 180 innings because they didn't plan on being in the playoffs.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And the Mets today, you know, when you're living right, they score 3 in the 9th to tie Atlanta, score 3 in the 10th to win it 10-7. And Drew Storen, so frustrated the other day, slammed the locker door on his thumb and broke it. And not the locker. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Frustration and hitting something doesn't always turn out well.
It rarely does, huh?
You get the vent, but sometimes you get a consequence. Sometimes the thing you hit hits back. Maybe throw a helmet, bounces off the wall, comes back and hits you. Throw a bat, comes back and hits you.
2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Greinke now with 6 strikeouts on the day. And he's got himself a shutout through 5, and Corey Seager will be leading off in the 6th. Ruby De La Rosa brushed him back, and he didn't take it well. So he paid it back with interest with a base hit off De La Rosa. That would be his last pitch thrown, De La Rosa. Seager today is 0 for 2 after having been on base in 9 consecutive plate appearances. So his average has plummeted to .438. What to do? On base percentage now just .538. First pitch swinging. It's a fair ball, and he's 0 for 3. He's human. 1 out, nobody on. But I imagine there'll be some butterflies floating around inside Seager tomorrow with him making the Dodger Stadium debut.
Jimmy Rollins guaranteed to get tomorrow off. They're going to test his finger tomorrow as far as the fielding and the hitting.
All right, Jake, 1 out.
But Corey Seager will definitely get the start and be at shortstop.
Randall Delgado now beginning to warm in the Arizona bullpen. A.J. Ellis 0 for 2. Takes outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. The Diamondbacks are especially conscious about Corbin and his pitch count, having come off Tommy John surgery. And it's 1-1. The 1-1 on the way, and Ellis pops it into short right. Owings going to get out of the way of Inciarte. It's a 2 out, nobody on. Dodgers get home tonight, dinner hour, depending on how fast this game runs. It might be a reasonable dinner hour, or it could be a late dinner.
Easy, Charlie, easy.
Either way, the Rockies are in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Pirates in next weekend. 4 with the Diamondbacks at Dodger Stadium. And then the last road trip of the year, Colorado and San Francisco. And the postseason is right around the corner. The Giants have picked up a couple in the 5th inning, now leading the Padres 6-3. Dodgers are keeping the Giants in their rearview mirror, but in the windshield are the Mets, who beat Atlanta today. And in all likelihood, if things play out, well, you would think they would, the Dodgers and Mets will be in the first round of the postseason. And both the Dodgers and Mets are much better at home than they are on the road. The Dodgers, for instance, are 47-21 at Dodger Stadium, and 5 games under 500 on the road. The Mets are 45-24 at Citi Field, and a game under 500 on the road.
The Mets have played better since David Wright came back and Cespedes came onto the team on the road. They're playing almost 600 ball on the road since Cespedes came back. So that could be slightly deceiving, not the same roster. But the Dodgers' road record has changed of late, too.
On 2-2, Peterson, the 1 hop to second base. Chalk throws his bat away in disgust, and his helmet and his elbow pad. Nothing across, will go to the bottom of the 6th. Greinke's got a 1-hitter going. Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. Well, Dodger fans well represented inside Chase Field on this Sunday afternoon, and They've got a 2-0 lead to cheer for here in the bottom half of the 6th, and Zack Greinke has given up just 1 hit so far. He has struck out 6 and walked 1. He'll be facing Nick Ahmed and the best-selling author Socrates. Brito is on deck to pinch hit. Ahmed bounced to short in his first at-bat. Meanwhile, 62 pitches. That's all that Greinke has thrown to this point. Six strikeouts and a walk. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
If you can call going 6 innings, getting a quality start, giving up 3 earned runs, rough water, that's what Zach got his W with against Anaheim in his last start.
In the hole, Seager, the long throw, couldn't quite get there. Ahmed with good speed beats it out. That was a kind of Jeter Tulowitzki-esque kind of play.
This is a better approach to this ball in the hole. Shows good range and gets rid of it a lot quicker than we saw the other day. He had to take another 1.5 steps the other day to get his body under control, but this one really got it over there quickly, and he's going to get out the average runner on that play with an accurate throw, but not a midfield fast runner.
So Ahmed is aboard. This is the second hit of the game that Greinke's given up. And here is Socrates Brito. And that's a chopper to second. Oh, Torre has a terrific play. But Brito runs too well. Ronald Torres just called up today. I mean, he arrived at the ballpark about 11 o'clock this morning.
It is not the easiest of plays. You're dealing with the length of the hop, the cut of the grass, the runner coming in on you right here, understanding where the bag is, and you're playing with Corey Seager, and you're like, I'll take this one myself. There's a lot of issues to deal with right there that he did very well.
1 out and 1 on. And again, this is the time of year that anybody and everybody on the 40-man roster can be used.
With Jimmy's fingers and Alex Guerrero having a little issue the other day.
Base hit into right field for A.J. Pollock, who's 1 for 3.
That play at second base looms large now after that quick 1-pitch base hit off of Zack Greinke. Instead of giving up a run, still things are under control with first and second here and 1 out. Zach's thrown a lot of fastballs, and a few of the Diamondback hitters are deciding to attack it early.
Now here's Inciardi stepping in. He's bounced to third. He's bounced to second. And the Dodgers a 2-0 lead. And this is the first bit of a rally the Diamondbacks have going. Diamondbacks lead the National League in runs and hits this year. Another chopper. Torres will underhand flip it to Gonzalez. The runners will advance, and there's 2 out.
A very quick adjustment from A.J. Olson, Zack Greinke. Noticing that they're attacking the first pitch 4-seam fastball. They go with the changeup / 2-seamer and get the easy routine out. Again, Diamondback hitters swinging early. But an off-speed pitch gets him out front.
Here's Goldschmidt coming up. He's had no success against Greinke today. Been struck out twice.
They've punched him out twice. You got first base open. You got one of the MVP candidates for the year at the plate. And a guy who's been a Dodger killer. So A.J. goes to the mound just to make sure he's got the plan. And I'm sure even though you struck him out twice, you're going to pitch him carefully. It's going to be a pitcher's pitch no matter what the count is. I don't care if they fall behind or they go to 0-2. They're going to be shooting for the black or ball.
Goldschmidt sitting on 99 RBIs. Swings and misses, and it's 0-1.
Fastball away that leaked right down the middle of the plate, and Goldie cut it loose. Zach got away with one right there. Beat him to the spot.
Goldschmidt looking to become just the 6th player since 1975 with 100 RBIs, 100 walks, and 20 stolen bases in a season. He's sitting on 99 RBIs. Already has more than 100 walks and more than 20 stolen bases. The others? Barry Bonds, Bobby Abreu, Jeff Bagwell, Joe Morgan, and Chipper Jones. So he's in pretty good company. 5th leading hitter in the league at .318. 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. Strike on the outside corner, and it's 1-2.
3 fastballs away. The first one leaked down the middle. The next 2, one was a ball and one was perfect. That gives you a 1-2 count. 3 pitches to get him out, and none of them need to be strikes now.
1-2, 2 out. One of the toughest hitters in the league. Missing outside is Greinke, 2-2.
He's getting real close to throwing a slider low and away right here off of all those fastballs away. Does he think he set it up long enough?
Greinke 4 for 22 against, Goldschmidt 4 for 22 against Greinke, and has been struck out 11 times, including today.
He struck him out on a fastball away in the first at bat and a slider away in the second at bat. He's thrown them all fastballs so far here. First base is still open.
And David Peralta on deck. On 2-2. Fastball got him outside corner. He has struck out Goldschmidt in all 3 meetings this afternoon. The Diamondbacks leave 2, and Greinke gets out of trouble. We'll go to the 7th. Greinke and the Dodgers with a 2-0 lead.
For the National League Cy Young Award, and he is in good company with his own teammate Clayton Kershaw, of course. Corey Seager making his debut tomorrow at Dodger Stadium, so fans will be looking forward to that, but certainly looking forward to what Clayton Kershaw brings to the hill as well. A 2.15 ERA coming into the game, but really his last 12 starts have been tremendous. 8-0, an ERA under 1, 1.04, guys, since the Midsummer Classic. Second lowest in major leagues to Jake Arrieta of the Cubs, who has 19 wins, which leads the league. A great performance, hopefully, tomorrow from Clayton Kershaw, guys.
Well, there'll be plenty of hallway chatter about the Cy Young, whether it be Greinke, who's leading it off here in the 7th. Kershaw got 3-4 more starts to go. And the guys in Chicago say, hey, don't forget about Arrieta. And then divining the political tea leaves, to what extent do Greinke and Kershaw split the vote come postseason? Here's Delgado on in relief of Patrick Corbin. Corbin, 6 innings, 2 runs, and 8 hits. in his 13th start since coming off the DL. Delgado, the former Brave, once a starter. 1 ball and 1 strike to Greinke, who is 1 for 2, an infield hit. Hitting .217 on the year. Delgado's 53rd appearance and a 3.19 ERA.
Turning the page back to the Cy Young race, the only category with Jake Arrieta leads in is wins. And Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke can't control that. Can't control the run support that they've gotten. In all the other categories, as far as pitching is concerned, Zach is leading or Clayton is leading.
He does have an exclamation point with a no-hitter.
Yes, he does.
So Greinke down on strikes, and that's the first out of the 7th. Justin Ruggiano sitting it out, and now it's going to be Scott Schebler pinch hitting for him. Ruggiano got the start against the lefty Corbin, and he's proven to be a very good hitter against left-handed pitching. Ruggiano 2 for 3 today. And here is Schebler, who looks like Greg Nettles of about 35 years ago. There's a strike. 1-1 to Schebler. Who grew up in Iowa. And those fellows who grow up in that cold weather climate, as you know well, it's not as easy for those growing up in the Midwest and trying to play ball early as it is for folks in the Southeast or Southwest where you play all year round. So you shovel snow, you bale hay, and then you throw fastballs and try to hit them.
Some of the guys that come out of that northeast corner, especially pitchers, stay healthier longer because they don't get as many reps as the warm weather guys from the Florida, Texas, California areas. Some of the best hitters come out of the warm weather areas because they get more reps as hitters. And out of the north, sometimes you can find some diamonds in the rough with the bat because they grow a little later. They get more reps as they turn pro.
And as kids, they simply play in rougher conditions. Toughen you up early. 3-2. Schebler. And Goldschmidt with a nice play.
The innings really pile up and the pitch count really pile up on the guys in the warm weather. They play the longer seasons. They play travel ball. They play fall ball because year-round weather that they can play baseball, and you get a lot of overuse injuries in the warmer weather places.
Well, this is the first time we've laid eyes on Ronald Torreyes. Came over from the Blue Jays. 1 ball, no strikes. By the way, if you heard, maybe not, Darwin Barney was traded to Toronto today. And that would appear to have a direct correlation to the injury to Troy Tulowitzki. They're saying at least 2 weeks for Tulowitzki with the fractured scapula. A little fracture. It's little if it's not yours. Here's the 1-1. And Torreyes, base hit toward the left field corner. He sure can run, and he's on his way to second base. Well, he arrived at the ballpark about 2.5 hours before the first pitch. And here he is with his first big league hit.
That ball will go into safekeeping. And it's a double. First base hit for Corey Seager was a double down the right field line, and this one for Torreyes is a double down the left field line, pulled by Jake Lamb. A diving attempt to stop the young man's first hit to no avail.
Well, 3 steps out of the batter's box, you could see he could fly. So a 2-out double. And Justin Turner is stepping in. 2-0 Dodgers, 2 out in the 7th. And Turner is 2 for 3 today. So the Dodgers send Darwin Barney to Toronto. They get somebody back for whom a stadium has already been named. Jack Murphy is a catcher that the Dodgers received from Toronto. The other thing we found out about Murphy is from Princeton. So if you need help on your SAT scores, he's the guy to call.
I've got a daughter going off to college for her freshman year. Maybe you're going to need a tutor.
And quick release from behind the plate. Jack Murphy, a new Dodger from Toronto in the Darwin Barney deal. 2 balls, no strikes to Turner. Up and in 3-0. So the Dodgers come home tomorrow night. Kershaw and John Gray. That'll be at 7:10. Brett Anderson and Chris Rusin on Tuesday night. Wednesday night, Jorge De La Rosa pitching for Colorado against somebody for the Dodgers, because them's the rules, but we don't know who it is yet. Three and 1 to Turner. Gonzalez is on deck. Torres leading off second. On 3 and 1 in the dirt, ball 4. Torres thinks about going home. On ball 4, Alex Wood, we're told, is going to be pitching for the Dodgers Wednesday. So the walk and the wild pitch.
Breaking ball in the dirt, Justin Turner lays off of, and Jared Saltalamacchia has trouble containing. Good aggressive look there to think about coming home, but
Keith Hessler, a left-hander, has been warming in the Arizona bullpen, and presumably for just this occasion. With Adrian Gonzalez due up, there goes Delgado. Hessler will be coming in with 2 on and 2 out in the 7th. Then the Dodgers leading it 2-0. Baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry. And a Diet Coke, please. Adrian Gonzalez with runners at the corners and 2 out, and Keith Hessler is now on in relief. Hessler's 13th appearance. Pitched an inning last night. Struck out a batter and walked a batter. And he'll be facing Gonzalez, who's 2 for 3 today. And of course, Adrian 2 for 5 and a home run last night in 73 games at Chase Field, hitting better than .330. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Gonzalez, 27 home runs, 83 runs batted in this season at .279. Into left field for a base hit. Torres comes in to score. Adrian Gonzalez loves hitting at Chase Field. It is 3-0 Los Angeles.
We have seen the sweet swing of Adrian Gonzalez on display 3 times today in 4 at-bats, 3 singles. This one off a lefty, and watch how smooth the leg kick, the foot gets down, the head stays on the ball, the weight going towards the breaking ball and towards where he's hitting it. Actually falls across home plate as he stays on that pitch and hits that line drive.
And now here is Van Slyke. So the Dodgers lead by 3. They've out-hit the Diamondbacks 10-3. Van Slyke is 0 for 3 and takes a ball inside 1-0. You get a sense there's one big hot streak left in Gonzalez this year, because he has kind of leveled off the last month to 6 weeks.
I hope it's like October 3rd to November 4th.
1-0 is behind Van Slyke. And Turner will go to third, and Gonzalez will go to second. Van Slyke discussed, like, how am I supposed to get out of the way when it's going behind me?
Yesterday we had the knockdown of Seager and immediately got warnings to both benches from Brian O'Nora, the crew chief. This ball definitely evaluated as an accident.
So Mike Harkey's going to go out and try to settle down Hessler. Well, De La Rosa imploded yesterday in 2 innings, 6 runs and 9 hits. Threw up and in around the head of Corey Seager. Undeterred, Seager would pay him back with a line drive single to center. De La Rosa, of course, came up in the Dodger organization. It was the worst outing of his major league career, and Seager saw to that.
And Seager was the topic of conversation on that visit to the mound, knowing that first base is open, the right-handed hitting veteran at the plate, and the left-handed rookie who has an 0 for so far today, but was blazing hot coming in the day.
And Seager, coming into the game today against left-handed pitching, which is to say, I dare you, 5 for 8. And now 0 for 3 today is 9 for 25 against right-handed pitching. So he's hitting 6 1/4 against lefties. Beware of what you wish for. Bases loaded, 2 out. Breaking ball down and away, 1 ball, no strikes. $36,000 in attendance. Sounds like about half of them Dodger fans. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a strike on the corner at the knees, and it's 1-1. A.J. Ellis on deck. Seager making his 7th start at shortstop, and this is his 10th big league game. Into center field. Pollock's got a long way to go, and he will track it down. Close, but no cigar. Dodgers score. Quite a day for Zack Greinke. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, and in 6 innings, just 72 pitches.
He has been outstanding on the mound. Very, very efficient. The fastball command has been outstanding. Really has thrown some sneaky curveballs as he practices that here in between innings. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 7 Ks, and only 1 walk. Zach is on his game again.
Scott Schebler takes over in left field. And the sun is peeking through right on. Scott Schebler taking over for Justin Ruggiano, for whom he pinch hit in the 7th inning. David Peralta, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Jake Lamb will hit in the bottom half of the 7th. So Greinke has given up just 3 base hits. 3 runners in scoring position so far today. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk in the 73rd pitch of the game as Peralta takes low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Peralta, Saltalamacchia, and Lamb to bat for the D-backs. 7th inning in San Francisco, Giants 6-3 over the Padres. Peralta takes low. Mets scored 3 in the 9th and 3 in the 10th and beat Atlanta 10-7. The Braves have fallen into the Bermuda Triangle the second half of the year. Chopper to second base. Torres, your newest Dodger. Time now, Earl, to take a look at the Arco top tier really sequence of the game.
Yeah, play of the game because he ends up getting him out. But Paul Goldschmidt been struck out by a slider away in his first at bat, a fastball away in his next at bat, and this key at bat with first base open, but second and third, those being the tying runs. Zack Greinke stays with the fastball to have this top tier play strikeout in that at bat.
Now Saltalamacchia takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Saltalamacchia walking a double today. Switch hitter bats from the left side, giving Wellington Castillo the day off. And the Dodgers are not upset about that. Castillo is hitting them from stem to stern. Wellington Castillo this year, who's watching this afternoon, and the Dodgers happy about that. 19 home runs, more home runs than any other National League catcher. And he spent a good portion of the year in Seattle, too. Well, Miguel Montero, of course, was the everyday catcher here last year, and he was shipped off to Chicago. 3-1. We begin the bottom of the 7th. Greinke's 80th pitch. That is a strike. 3-2. Diamondbacks began the year with Tuvey Goswich, the catcher, and he got hurt. And so their 2 catchers now weren't around on opening day. Torres coming in from short right. Throws out Saltalamacchia's 2 gone. Now Jake Lamb coming up. Bounced into a double play and has been struck out. It has been an efficient and methodical performance for Zack Greinke today. His earned run average at the moment is 163. To short. Seager's got an easy play. And Greinke's had an easy inning. Nothing across, will go to the 8th. Ellis, Peterson, and Greinke are due up. All Greinke needed in the 7th was 10 pitches. Through 7. Big story has been Greinke at the bottom of the screen. 7 innings, no runs, and 3 base hits. He really has been in no sort of trouble at all. Gonzalez has feasted on Diamondback pitching throughout his career, particularly here. And Torreyes, in his Dodger debut, came up with a base hit and scored a run. He's taken over at second base for Peraza. Greinke, 82 pitches in 7. He hasn't thrown more than 13 pitches in any inning today. Correction. Threw 14 in the 5th. 10 in the 1st, 10 in the 7th. And Ellis is the batter as we begin the 8th. AJ has flied to right twice and flied to center. Outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Sometimes these catchers, A.J. Ellis, they don't get enough credit for when the pitchers do well. The pitcher can really get into a good rhythm and feel like he's in a rocking chair when he has outstanding catcher back there. Keep him in that rhythm, putting down the right fingers, giving targets in the exact right spots. And A.J. and Yasmani deserve an awful lot of credit for the success of especially the top 2 guns in this rotation.
Peterson on deck, and that's well hit to center field. Pollock's got a long way to go. That's well hit, and that is against the wall and gone. A home run. A.J. Ellis over the fence. Pollock into the fence. Ellis his 5th home run of the year. The Dodgers lead 4-0. What a shot.
First hit by a Dodger catcher in this series, but it's not the first ball that's been hit hard. A.J. Ellis has hit a lot of balls hard and lined out in this series. This one, he hits it where nobody can catch it. No hard luck when you hit it over 413 and over the fence.
Pollock with his eye on the ball never saw the fence coming. So Ellis now with 5 home runs on the year. He's had a great second half. Off to the slow start, then about the middle of June, Ellis has made the U-turn and having a terrific second half.
It was all smiles down there on the bench. I'm sure they were talking about all the balls he's hit hard and not gotten anything to show for it. And he had to hit someplace where there's no fielder.
The only thing he missed was the swimming pool.
Yasmani showed signs of coming out of his slump with 2 walks the other day. He didn't get any hits, but he started to see the ball better. Some borderline 3-2 pitches that he took and got himself on base.
Peterson rolls it to first.
Jock's claiming that it hit the bat twice while he was in the batter's box. Don Mattingly coming out, and second base umpire.
Alan Porter is coming in. And maybe he had a better look than Mark Ripperger, the home plate umpire.
Jock gets fooled, gets out front, and you see the ball's coming up and hits it a second time. T.C. Chin did that golf tournament with a wedge. Jock just did it with a baseball bat here.
Well, they corrected the call.
It's like the ball coming up and hitting you in the knee and then going into fair territory. If it hits you in the batter's box, the bat considered part of the body the second time around. Come up and hit you in the brim of the helmet, go fair? No, that's a foul ball.
Alan Porter, the second base umpire, immediately saw it. Now the 1-2. Well, much ado about nothing. Now here are the T-Mobile Data Strong Fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo with the hashtag SNLA Data Strong Fan for a chance to be shown in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. So with 2 out. Greinke batting for himself. Zach just 82 pitches through 7 innings. And he loves to hit. And the Dodgers are thrilled to give their bullpen another inning off.
11 2/3 the last 2 nights. And there's plenty of bodies down there and plenty of arms. But 11 2/3 is enough for 2 days' work. Hey, what? That shot of the bullpen looked like a tryout camp down there.
Inside 1 and 2.
I mean, it takes a lot of post-game spread to feed just those guys there. Matt Latos there on the right.
The bearded fellow in the middle of the screen. J.P. Howell threw 1 pitch for a victory last night. Greinke down on strikes. And that's the second out of the 8th.
And within the pitching fraternity, J.P. Howell is not well liked by starters that have to throw 110, 115 pitches to find a W. He'll take it.
I think it was Joe Beimel years ago. Came in relief, threw no pitches and got a win. Picked off a run.
I guess that's close to the ultimate vulture.
That's pitch efficiency. Dodgers with a 4-0 lead on the Ellis home run here in the 8th. Schebler bounced to first in his first at-bat. Took over for Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano started against the lefty Corbin. Ruggiano once again proving he's a very good hitter against lefties. 2 for 3 today. On 0-2, Schebler foul tips it. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Dodgers by 4. And Schebler grounds to first. Goldschmidt with the toss. Very close play, and they just get Schebler. So A.J. Ellis with probably his longest home run of the year. 415 and then some. His 5th of the season, and the Dodgers lead by 4 after 7.5. Tomorrow, it'll be Kershaw and Gray at 7:10. And Tuesday, Brett Anderson and Chris Rusin, Alex Wood to pitch for the Dodgers against the Rockies and Jorge De La Rosa on Wednesday. Thursday, an off day, and the Pirates come in for a big weekend series. The Pirates coming into play today. We're just 2.5 behind the Cardinals. Pittsburgh has beaten Milwaukee 7-6. And St. Louis trying to stem the tide, beating Cincinnati today 9-2. Chris Owings, 25 batters Greinke has faced today. First pitch strikes on 20 of them. And it's 1-1 to Owings, who has been struck out twice. In the most positive way, it's been more of the same for Zach Greinke, whose ERA is down to 1.62. Two and one.
Said one outing where he's given up 6 earned runs, one outing where he's given up 5, 4 outings where he's given up 3. He leads the league in baseball with quality starts of 26. This is the 27th right here. Everything else, he's given up a 2 spot, a 1 spot, or no runs.
That's how you get to a 1.62 ERA, kids. Three and two.
Don't attempt it at home because it's impossible almost.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. It certainly bears repeating. If Greinke finishes the season with an ERA under 2, and you kind of like his chances now, he'll be the first pitcher in 10 years and the 4th in the dead ball era, since the dead ball era, whose ERA never rose above 2 all season. Last one, Roger Clemens at 2005. And Greinke, the leadoff walk to Owings here in the 8th. Pedro in 97 and 2000 finished the year with an ERA under 2 and never was over. Maddox in 1994, a 1.56 ERA. And Rube Marquardt in 1916, an ERA of 1.58. He pitched for the Brooklyn Robins. So Greinke's in pretty good company as Ahmed steps in. That was the second walk of the day given up by Greinke. No balls and a strike. Ahmed with an infield hit, and he's grounded to short. Big Peter O'Brien in the on deck circle to pinch hit. Dodgers now have double barrel action in the bullpen. To short. There's one and two. That's the second time that Greinke has walked a batter and promptly got out of it with a double play.
That was about as routine as they come. 6-4-3.
And here is Peter O'Brien. Spent the year at AAA. Came over from the Yankees. And he not shy about that swing. It's 0-1. Batting for Hessler. 0-2.
2 for 2 in his early career here in his first 2 at bats with 2 RBIs. It's a little different challenge now. 0-2 to Zach Greinke.
His chances of success are minimal. So Greinke on 0-2 pitches this year. Greinke's opponents are 3 for 42. That's about 0-70, which is why we didn't like O'Brien's chances. Get a full headshot, and it's certainly well earned. 8 strikeouts, just 2 walks for Greinke today. 93 pitches through 8 innings. The most he ever threw in an inning today was the 5th when he had 14. He had 11 pitches in the 8th, 10 in the 7th, 11th in the 6th. Kenley Jansen is warming in the bullpen. Or will Greinke get a chance for a complete game?
Zach got an awful lot of handshakes when he came in after the 8th, and I don't think they're going to get Kenley up just to get him some work. I think he's going to be getting in the game.
Greinke, with his performance today, is now at 200 innings on the year. And he is 3 outs away from going 17-3. And a pop to first. Reyes is out. That's the first out of the 9th inning off Silvino Bracco. Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. Now Turner stepping in, 2 for 3 and a walk and a run scored today. He's also driven in a run. Dodgers 4 runs, 11 hits. The Diamondbacks no runs in 3. And it's 0-1 to Turner. Gonzalez on deck. And the Dodgers, if all goes according to Hoyle, should be home in about 3 hours. Ball strike, and it's 0-2. And then the last long homestand of the season for Mattingly's group. 3 with the Rockies, 3 with the Pirates, 4 with these Diamondbacks the following week. On 0-2 to Turner. Bracco can get it up there.
A nice little herky-jerky motion. Has some deception there. Hides the ball coming out of his glove. Give you a real lot of things to time up.
Made his major league debut at the end of August. At 93, Turner is down, 2 gone.
First baseman Adrian Gonzalez.
Gonzalez has had a good day today, 3 for 4. Adrian had the night off last night. No, I beg your pardon, did a home run last night. So on the year, Adrian is at 27 home runs. And 83 runs batted in.
Still got a shot at 100 RBIs. Something you could usually pencil him in for.
Gonzalez takes a strike. Adrian at 280. Silvino Bracco is the 4th Diamondback pitcher of the day. And he is buried deep in the media guide. Silvino Bracco. There's Chris Hatcher next to Kenley Jansen. 5'10", 189 from Venezuela. A non-drafted free agent signing in 2011. And that's about it. 3-1. So here is Gonzalez, a career 293 hitter. And Adrian at the moment is at 280.
2 out, nobody on, 3-1 count. Looking fastball, looking to turn on one in a ballpark he loves to hit in.
And takes outside ball 4 instead.
Couldn't have reached that with a 10-foot pole.
Right fielder Scott Van Slyke.
Now Van Slyke 0 for 3 and a walk. If the Dodgers can finish it off, they'll go 11-4 over the Diamondbacks and 33-11 against Arizona since the 1st of July 2 years ago. Strike, 0-1. It's all over but the shouting in San Francisco. The Giants an 8-3 lead over the Padres, who are hitting in the 8th. Astros have taken a 5-3 lead on the Angels in the 9th in Anaheim. 0-1 to Van Slyke. One ball, one strike. The Dodgers close it out. They'll finish this road trip at 7-3. And the 1-1 is on the way. One ball, two strikes, and two out. Van Slyke to keep the inning alive. Seager is on deck. And the 1-2. Well, he keeps it alive. Van Slyke's first hit of the day.
Scott stayed on this fastball. The first pitch to him was a low strike down the middle. Probably was a little low, but he goes right back there. Forced to swing at it now because it was called a strike earlier. But hits it right back up the middle and gets a base hit out of it.
So Van Slyke 1 for 4 on the afternoon. And Seager is 0 for 4. Came into the game hitting .467. He's still over 400. 2 on, 2 out, 9th inning. Dodgers 4-0. Bracco, the 4th Diamondbacks pitcher of the day. And Seager takes low. 1 ball, no strikes. Corey hit his first big league home run last night. Got the ball back in a 3-team trade. He got the ball. Fan gave up the ball to get an autographed ball from David Peralta, and everybody was happy. 2-0. Not exactly high-powered negotiations necessarily, but got the job done.
He's hit safely in every one of his big league starts. Today the 0-fer, so he's got a chance to stay perfect with a hit here.
2 balls and no strikes with 2 out. 2-1.
This gets underneath this fastball right here and a 2-0 count. A lot of bat speed for a very calm approach.
2 balls and a strike. Gonzalez at second, Van Slyke at first. 2 out in the 9th, and the Dodgers 4-0. Here comes the 2-1. Bracco deals. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Something we haven't seen very much from Corey Seager is chasing balls out of the strike zone. We've seen a little bit on the down and in breaking ball from a right-hander. Been very good at taking the sweeping breaking balls from lefties, but we haven't seen him chase that high fastball.
So now it's 2-2 with 2 out. A.J. Ellis, who homered in his last at-bat, is on deck. Bracco set. 3-2. Seager in his first week and a half in the big leagues has been struck out 4 times, but he's walked 7 times. His on base percentage is .512. There's AJ. So the runners will be running with the full count and 2 out. There they go. Here it comes. Foul back. We'll do it again.
It's good for Adrian Gonzalez. 3-2, 2 out to be going. No risky injury really as far as a collision at the plate. Getting that head start if Seager gets a hit.
So Corey with a home run, 7 runs batted in. He scored 8. 5 of his 14 hits have been for doubles. And the 3-2. One more time. Dodgers and Rockies, and tomorrow night Corey Seager will make his Dodger Stadium debut. And this will be the 8th pitch of this at-bat. Rocco on 3-2. There'll be a 9th pitch.
Every fastball that he has fouled off, he's hitting the bottom of the ball. Slowly his eyes are starting to adjust to it. He's getting a little bit bigger piece of it. Started with the foul tip that went into the catcher's glove and then has slowly worked its way around the foul balls over the Diamondback dugout. Starting to zero him in.
3-2. There go the runners. Here comes the pitch, and he works out the walk. That's the 8th walk he has worked out. He's been struck out only 4 times. And the bases are loaded and 2 out. A.J. Ellis coming up. Mike Harkey's coming out to talk with Bracco and try to settle him down.
You think about a guy that is in swing mode in an 8-9 pitch battle, fouling the ball off, swing, 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 and then another fastball comes out of your hand. That was a very veteran walk from a young man right there that has been hot and swinging and not showing the anxiousness of, oh, I want to get another hit as a rookie. Outstanding at bat.
On Friday night, Seager walked 3 times. One of those walks began with an 0-2 count. Ellis with the bases loaded. And it's 0-1. AJ with his 5th home run of the year, 15 runs batted in, with Gonzalez, Van Slyke, and Seager aboard. Dodgers with a run in the 7th, a run in the 8th, leading 4-0. Into center field. Pollock has plenty of room, and that's going to do it. No runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. And the Dodgers have a 4-0 lead. Alert. This summer, the power is in your hands. FlexAlert.org. So we'll go to the bottom half of the ninth inning, and it'll be Kenley Jansen to get some work. After 8 shutout innings tossed by Zach Greinke, no runs, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks. And he is 3 outs away from his 17th win of the year. And Jansen didn't begin until the middle of May. Remember, he had the foot surgery over the winter. Hasn't missed a beat. 72 strikeouts and not quite 45 innings. Top of the order for the Diamondbacks in the bottom of the ninth. A.J. Pollock to lead it off. 1 for 3. Pollock, 33 doubles, 34 stolen bases. He's the only player with at least 30 doubles and 30 stolen bases this year. And while 1 for 3 today, he's still hitting .313, 8th in the league. Diamondbacks have a lot of pieces around which they can build. They can get some starting pitching.
Yeah, they need some pitching, and their offense looks like it's very healthy. Their defense looks squared away. I think that'll be the focus of whatever they can do within their budget constraints.
0-2 to Pollock. Fouls it off to the right. Interesting, Alana, that Kenley Jansen is pitching here in the ninth after 8 shutout innings tossed by Greinke.
Well, Charlie, Don Mattingly was saying yesterday when asked why Kenley Jansen was brought in yesterday in a non-save situation, he said, why not? He said, at this point in the year, in September baseball, we're trying to win games and guarantee that they can do it. They bring in the best closer in the game to do so.
So Jansen in a non-save situation, ahead 0-2 on Pollock. And he fouls it off to the right.
The sooner they sew up this division, the more they can make plans for the future and adjust the workload of the everyday players, of the pitching staff, and really start to focus in on October.
Pollock on 0-2 from Kenley Jansen. Do it again.
And it also gets Kenley Jansen used to a little heavier workload and also pitching with a 4-run lead or a 5-run lead, which they will probably have him do in the playoffs.
So here's Kenley off to finish off the job started by Greinke today. Missing inside. If Jansen can close the door and not give up a run, the Dodgers will have recorded their major league leading 20th shutout of the year. Almost a quarter of their wins have been shutouts. Well, he's got Pollock. He's a third of the way through the ninth.
And more we're seeing the slider to finish hitters off. Kenley, not only one of the best closers in the game, but he is still developing as a pitcher. And in his pitch selection, sometimes the catchers have had to force him to throw it, and now he is a willing participant in adding that to his arsenal.
Ender Inciarte. Between Inciarte, Pollock, and Peralta, the Arizona Diamondback outfield has the highest collective team batting average, bunted in the air and out of play, nothing in one, of any outfield in the league. Collectively, they're hitting .296. And there's Peralta, who's hitting .305. Of course, they've got Goldschmidt. Ahmed looks like he's a keeper at short. Here's the 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the production of the other 7 hitters allows Ahmed to have some time to have his bat develop. because the glove is outstanding.
And if he could play against the Dodgers every day, he'd be a 400 hitter. 0-2 to Inciarte. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, next year, assuming Corbin is healthy, there's one. Can they ever rein in De La Rosa, which was the issue with the Dodgers and briefly in Boston? Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Jansen strikes out the first 2 hitters in the 9th.
Once they got to 0-2, they decided to go up the ladder. One went over A.J. Ellis. This one a little lower, but definitely goes over the bat of Inciarte. High heat to finish him off.
With 2 out, Paul Goldschmidt is happy to see Kenley Jansen. Well, not really, but compared to Zach Greinke, who struck him out 3 times. One of the elite first basemen in the game. There's a slider for a strike. Bum Phillips once said about the great Earl Campbell. How good is he? He said, he may not be in a class by himself, but it sure don't take long to call the roll. Paul Goldschmidt's that way at first base. 1-1. 5th in the league in hitting, 4th in hits, 4th in runs scored, 2nd in RBIs, and 3rd in on base percentage. Paul Goldschmidt. Two and one. So here is Kenley Jansen. The Dodgers an out away from going home. That's a strike. 2-2. 93.
Goldschmidt raised his arms, thinking it was a ball, maybe in.
This crowd sounds like it's at Dodger Stadium and not Chase Field. 2-2. Dodgers are about to go 11-4 against the Diamondbacks this year. They were 15-4 against them last year. Kershaw goes tomorrow. Now it's 3-2.
All year long they've tried to win series. They got this one within their grasp.
The rubber game of this 3-game set. 3-2 with 2 out. Giants 10-3 over the Padres in the 8th inning. Mike Leake pitching and has hit a home run. One more time on 3-2. You'd think the Dodgers bust in this crowd today.
Left field, David Peralta.
Kenley Jansen with 19 pitches. They want to overwork him, but if he's out there and it's past this batter, they're going to want him on the mound, so this is his game to finish off.
Nobody in the bullpen. Well, nobody working. There are a ton of people down there in the bullpen. David Peralta 0 for 3. 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, and 2 out. Into right field for a base hit. The Diamondbacks will not go quietly into this good night.
So much so that the tying run is in the on-deck circle now. One more batter, and this gets very interesting. You might see Rick Honeycutt mosey on out to the mound just to give Kenley a break. A.J. Ellis doing that right now with 21 pitches in this inning. First of all, a phone call. You might rattle some chairs down there in the bullpen. Secondly, you might see a visit to the mound just to settle the big fella down and give him a little more time.
He'd walk Goldschmidt on a 3-2 pitch, and Peralta came up with a single to right. Saltalamacchia 1 for 2 and a walk. Dodgers 4-0. Missing way outside. Now the Dodgers have bullpen activity. Chris Hatcher. Jake Lamb on deck. Popped up, foul. Ellis has no chance.
I like that cutter inside to Saltalamacchia a lot better than the one away. Saltalamacchia on a 4-seam fastball from Zach Greinke with a ball to left center. Loves to extend his arms, and for a left-handed hitter is a pretty good high ball hitter. Tie him up on that inner half.
1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Two and one.
Going inside to try and tie him up again. Took a good shot in there, and the cut on it just took it off the edge of the plate.
Two and one, 2 out, 2 on. Now it's 2 and 2. The lead man Goldschmidt, Peralta's at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Now it's 3 and 2.
The ball in the infield's going to first base. The runners will be going. So you lose your force out at third. You lose your force out at second.
On 3 and 2. 2 out. 9th inning. Oof.
That's the thing about that cutter inside for Saltalamacchia. If he does get to it, he's probably going to pull it foul. He's got the kind of swing that's a little bit long, has to come around that ball.
Meanwhile, they wanted to get Jansen work, but not this much work.
This 27 pitches, this is like extending a starter into the 9th at about 120.
On 3 and 2. To right. And deep. And gone. 4-3. Jared Saltalamacchia. The 6th home run Jansen has given up this year.
Low cutter ends up on the inner half and down. You can extend your arms when it's down. You can't when it's up. Full speed going out of here, and it got out of here in a hurry. As soon as it left the bat, the Diamondbacks knew they were within 1.
And Mattingly knew it was time to get Jansen. Jansen struck out Pollock and Inciarte. On 3 and 2, he would walk Goldschmidt. Peralta lined a single to right, and Saltalamacchia with a long-distance home run. Now Mattingly has not yet made the move to the bullpen. The entire infield is in. Will he stay or will he go? He will stay. Mattingly will go.
Finley watched Don walk to the mound the whole time. Don had his head down, thinking about what he was going to say to him. At 28 pitches, you're grinding on the fact, do I get my closer out of there, keep him healthy? But I also have to protect his ego. And if he wants to stay in this game, this is about Kenley's choice right here.
Jake Lamb is now the tying run at the plate with 2 out and 3 in the 9th.
Kenley's going to get tomorrow off and the next day possibly, I would say. But right now the adrenaline and the anger that he feels he's going to use to get this last hitter out.
Lamb is 0 for 3. The count is 0-1. The count is now 0-2. Kenley Jansen has given up 6 home runs this year in 45 innings. That's really been the blemish on his line throughout the year. 72 strikeouts, 7 walks. Now the 0-2. Inside and low, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Love the pitch selection. Went with the slider, trying to go down and in. I think Pitch Tracks, take a look at this one. I thought this was a strike. Ooh, just misses.
1-2 to Lamb. Jansen can't put him away yet.
Made 2 really good pitches. The 0-2 slider down and in just missed. That fastball trying to go up the ladder maybe was just a little too low. I think you go right back up the ladder since he offered it that one.
Lamb has 6 home runs, 33 runs batted in. 1 ball, 2 strikes and 2 out. And now the magic numbers to 13. Dodgers finish the road trip 7-3. Take a big exhale and hang on to beat the Diamondbacks this afternoon 4-3. For the Dodgers, 4 runs, 12 hits, no errors. They left 12 men on base. Arizona, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They left 3. Greinke wins it 17-3. Corbin takes a loss 5-4 in a game that took 2 hours and 56 minutes to play. Zach Greinke with his 11th scoreless start of the year, and he was sensational. That is why he is the Lexus Player of the Game. 93 pitches, 59 for strikes. He struck out 8 and he walked 2, just scattering 3 base hits on the day. So the Dodgers will go home 7-3 on the road trip, and now with 20 to play, the magic number is 13. That's a wrap from Phoenix. For Alana Rizzo, Oral Hershiser, Charlie Steiner saying good night and goodbye. Now it's time to send it back to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan.